Everybody, Sangat Rupich, if you go join in, please take part, allow us to connect, deconnect from the world, right? And connect to Guru Sahib Ji. So benti hai. So everybody, please join in, close your eyes, or if you want to keep them open, feel free to, and let's all join in with the movement then. WhyGuru Sahib Ji, Ek Oankar, Satnam, Karta Purkh, Nirbhau, Nirvair, Akal Murat Ajuni Saipang Gur Prasad Jap Adi Sach Jugad Sach Hai Pi Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach Ik Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Saipang Gur Prasad Jap Adi Sach Pi Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach Ik Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Akal Murat Ajuni Saipang Gur Prasad Jap Adi Sach Jugad Sach Hai Pi Sach Ik Oankar Ek Oankar Satnam Karta Purkh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Saipang Gur Prasad Jap Adi Sach Jugad Sach Adi Sach Jugad Sach Hai Pi Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh. So sorry, it's quite cute because the kids were just standing there on the side for that peredar, was just guarding the door, so that was nice. If anybody wants water, then just please put your hands up and the young Singhs will give it out. So another apologies, during the end of the movement that I started going on my laptop, I was just opening the slides from last week because I remembered that you guys had some homework, right? Those that were here last week, you were given homework, but for those that were online, maybe you followed the homework as well. So what was set last week to all the Sangha to try and do, you know, in their day-to-day routines? And how did you guys get on? Hopefully you didn't say I forgot, because I think Baban Singh hopefully sent out a reminder as well on WhatsApp. So Haji, please somebody share. Okay, Japji Sahib before you have your breakfast. Kirpa. So how did that go? Did anybody try that? Yeah. Yep. How was it? Can somebody please share? Sharing is caring.
My routine anyway.
Okay, so friends, I already do that. So could add an extra one. No? Okay. Chalo, theek hai. Right. Anybody else who tried it and wanted to share? Otherwise, I might be a bit cheeky and pick on someone who didn't try. Benji over there in the chunni.
Yeah, this is my
Kirpa. How did you find it? Oh, good.
Yeah, good.
Much Kirpa.
I find the more you do it, the more easier it gets.
Amazing. Kirpa. And what about in terms of going to see Guru Sahib Ji in the morning? Did anybody try that as well? Before they eat food, to try and go and have darshan of Guru Sahib Ji? Anybody try that? Theek hai. Look, that's great. Even in Japji Sahib, Bani Guru, Guru hai Bani. Right? That the Bani, the writings of the Guru are the Guru. There is no difference, right? So if you weren't here last week, then check that out. And this was just from the history of Mata Ganga Ji, who is the wife of our fifth Guru, Siddhi Guru Arjan Dev Ji. And before they were given the blessing of being blessed with Siddhi Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, their son, when there was a long day, right? They woke up in the morning, they did the Nitnem, they did their Ishnan, they made the food themselves with their own hands, and they went all the way towards Baba Buddha Sahib Ji's Than. We said it was about 17 kilometers away. Well, it took them about 4 hours to walk there. If you're going according to Google Maps today, right? Probably took longer. Nange Paidi, no shoes, right? They went there, they served Baba Buddha Sahib Ji, and then when they came back from serving Baba Buddha Sahib Ji, Imagine that walk home. And as Kaviji wrote, the poet wrote at that time, that it was the evening time, and the Dasya, the female servant, said to Mata Gangaji, they said, Pojan leho jev, that have something to eat. And Mata Gangaji said at that time, Ke pat darshan kar. The only when I have darshan of my pat here refers to pati, my husband, pat darshan kar asana achongi. I will only eat until I see my husband. Until I see my Guru, because our husband was the Guru Arjan Dev Ji, then I will eat. Karata odikan bethe ev. Until then, odikan means again to odik, in that case to wait. So Mataji waited until Guru Arjan Dev Ji came back, served Guru Arjan Dev Ji their food, and then Mataji ate themselves. And we saw how Mata Sahib Deva Ji, Mata Sahib Kaur Ji, same thing, right? Darshan kar hai, ta bhojan pave. Right, so that was the homework, if you want to call that, or just something for you guys to try. Again, every time you come to the Gurdwara Sahib, as much as possible, if we could take something away and apply it to our lives, then every single day we're taking a step closer to our Guru, right? That is the whole point of coming and connecting and taking something away. And that way our jivan, our spiritual, the spiritual lives that we're living, they're progressing, right? Which is the whole point of Chardi Kala, right? Chardi Kala, always ever rising, ever growing, right? That's what we're aiming to do. So today we're actually celebrating, or you could say marking, the Shahidi Divas of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. ठीक है? So it's interesting, people use the word celebrate, and that's very interesting because within Sikh tradition, we celebrate our martyrs. So in that case, when people talk about death, you know, death is quite a taboo topic, but Gurbani talks about death all the time, right? So you can't hide or you can't run from death, right? Jis marne sab jagat tarasya, so marna guru sabad pargasya. That means, what Gurbani is saying to us, that type of death, the whole world is scared of. Jis marne sab jagat tarasya. The whole world is scared of this topic of death. So marna guru sabad pargasya. They say that type of death, through the Guru Shabad, it is a completely different experience. ठीक है? Through the Guru's eyes, that death is the best type of death to have. It just means that that person is coming closer to the truth, to the one, to their source, right? So when we look at the life of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, a very inspirational life, and you know, I'll try and do some sort of justice to the life of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. There's so much to cover, and we only touch upon certain aspects. Last year, Bhai Kuljit Singh Ji actually came and did a 2-hour talk. I don't intend for talking for 2 hours, but I can talk, right? So we'll see how far it goes, but I'm not planning on doing 2 hours, right? So does anybody recognize this Shabad? It's a very famous Shabad, you know, for those that listen to Kirtan. Does anybody know where these two or one Pankti is from? It's a very famous Shabad that comes in Gurbani for those Kirtan fanatics. Anybody? Hanji.
I recognise it, Parchar, because common.
I'll give you a clue, right? Let's open it up, right? The Shabad is by Guru Ram Das Ji, but that helps in any way. I'll give you another clue. The first word of the Shabad is koi. Koi. Go on.
Is that also the other?
No, it's not Asadi word, right? Koi aan. Koi aan milave, mera pritam pyara. ठीक है? So it's a very famous Shabad. I'd recommend, if you haven't heard it before, go home and search it. Koi aan milave, mera pritam pyara. It means that if only there was somebody who can come and reunite me with my beloved, I would give them everything, right? So in that Shabad comes these Panktiya, or this Pankti, Tana mana kaata sab arpi. They say that I would take my body and my mind and I'll cut it into pieces, piece by piece, which Agni aap jalai, and I'll burn it in the fire. So Gurbani, in some cases, people may think Gurbani are just words. People may think Gurbani is a song. You just sing Gurbani. Well, that's how you do Kirtan. But if you ask the Guru, if you ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji, what is Gurbani? Gurbani says, ke log jane, eh geet hai, eh to brahm vichar. They say people think this is a song. But they're saying a song. These are the conversations of Rabb. These are the conversations of WhyGuru. This is the inner state of WhyGuru. And what Gurbani is saying has been lived by the Guru or the Guru Sikhs. ठीक है? So everything that Gurbani is saying, the Guru Sikhs have lived by that. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji is an example of somebody who lives by this bachan of Tanamana Kaat Sab Arpi. They were cut into pieces. We say Band Katai, right? And we learned about that today, how Bhai Mani Singh Ji lived up to this bachan of Siddhi Guru Ramdas Ji. Very, very interestingly, in that case, why did this happen? It happened at the asthan of Siddhi Guru Ramdas Ji, right? Which is Harmandir Sahib. People know as the Golden Temple today, right? But Harmandir Sahib, it was here where that bachan, in that case, became pura, right? It happened. And we'll find out later on what the story is behind that. So, before we do that, we're just going to go through the history of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, because their Shahidi Divas is today, we mark that day, but it's interesting to learn who was Bhai Mani Singh Ji as a Sikh figure, right? And how much of a, you say that the type, in terms of a caliber of a Guru Sikh, they were like the top of the top, right? And the Sangha they did of the Guru Sahiban within our lineage in that case. Just another Shabad. This morning I went to the Gurdwara Sahib, and the Granthi Singh was just talking about Bhai Mani Singh Ji as well. And another key thing about Bhai Mani Singh Ji and their Shahidi, their martyrdom, was that they were reciting Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib, right? Very famous prayer. We've all probably been to a Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib part before as well. And at the start of Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib, Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, Kinka ek jis jiya basave, taki mehma gani na ave. They say, even if a kinka here means like a very, very small amount. Right? Rai matar, right? You say, in that case, you have to translate. Kinka ek here refers to ek parameshwar. Kinka ek jis ji basave. If even a small ounce, just a tiny bit of God's name was to reside inside that person, taki mehma gani na ave. You could not find the end of that person. You could not praise that person, that one that has God's name inside their heart. Kaki eke dars toharo. And for that reason, my ardas, the Guru is saying, or we are saying, is that I yearn for their darshan. I yearn to see those Guru Sikhs who inside them even just a small amount of God's name resides. Nanak ona sangha mohe udaro. Kyunki ona di sangat karke, by doing their sangat, I am saved as well. They are already saved because God's name sits inside their heart, but by doing their sangat, I am saved as well. Right? So when we learn about the lives of these Guru Sikhs, we are doing sangat of those Guru Sikhs. Right? Sangat is your company, it is your interaction. Right? Doesn't always have to be physical, person on person. It could be with your phone. Right? What type of sangha do we keep with our phone? Right? What types of things do we watch on our phone or communicate with? Right? So in that case, when it comes to Bhai Mani Singh Ji, if we learn about the life of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, take Sikhya from their life, apply them to our lives, then we're doing sangat in that case. And on a sangha mohe udaro, then we could be saved as well. ठीक है? So if we start with the just some facts about Bhai Mani Singh Ji, you probably recognize some of these pictures, right? Obviously that's Bhai Mani Singh Ji in the top right hand corner. Does anybody know who the bottom right corner is referring to? Well, it's a good answer. It's Guru Arjan Dev Ji, yes, is somebody who was actually in the same situation. They were tortured like this, but anybody else? Bhai Dayala Ji. ठीक है? So Bhai Dayala Ji is the brother of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. ठीक है? So they were also a martyr. ठीक है? Does anybody know who that is on the left, bottom left? Yes. Bhai Bachitra Singh Ji, who fought a mast hathi, an elephant, right? And they passed away. You could say shaheed in that case because it was due to battle wounds on the journey between Anandpur Sahib to Chamkaur Sahib. ठीक है? They were the son of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. ठीक है? And then does anybody know who is in the top left hand corner? Bit harder, I guess. Starts with a U. Hanji. It's a good answer. It's a very good answer. It's not Bhai Mehtab Singh Ji, but very good. Bhai Uday Singh Ji, ठीक है, who is their son as well, who cut the head off Kesari Chand, who said, I'm going to cut Guru Gobind Singh Ji's head off. He went and cut his head off. Right? You say you're going to cut my Guru's head off, I'll cut your head off. Right? And then they gave Shahidi at Sarsa as well, right? I think we went through it probably a few months ago, unless there's somewhere else where they talk about the last conversation. These are just a few individuals. In Bhai Mani Singh Ji's lineage, it goes into double figures. How many people gave Shahidi? In their close family, it's close to 20. If you start going out and lineages up and down, we're talking over 30, 40 individuals. And where does this start from? It starts from their grandfather. Who is the grandfather of Bhai Mani Singh Ji? Bhai Ballu Ji. So Bhai Ballu Ji was a Sikh of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, our sixth Guru. So a lot of our Guru Sikhs that we hear about in our history, especially later on down the line from like the times of Guru Gobind Singh, you can say, a lot of those Guru Sikhs that we hear about, their parents, their father, their grandfather, their mother, grandmother, they were Sevadars, they were Shardalus, they were Sikh of the Guru as well. It wasn't just that they came down in that time. A lot of them, their family lineage traces back to our other Guru Sahiban as well. So Bhai Ballu Ji was a Sikh of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and they fought in the first battle of Siddhi Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji at Siddhi Amritsar Sahib. Okay? And they became shaheed in that battle. ठीक है? They became shaheed in the first battle. They say they carried a sword, a talwar that was bara said. So bara said, said is a measurement, in that case a weight measurement in, if you want to say in Punjabi, if it is in Punjabi but it's not in English, obviously, right? It works out to 0.9 kg. ठीक है? So if his talwar in that case was bara said, who's good at maths here? If it's 0.9 kg, 12 times 0.9, what you got a calculator? Come on, man. Come on, man. My maths teacher used to say to me, Sukhdeep, you are Indian. Maths is in your blood. His name was Mr. Thomas, right? He's from India, right? Let's not go to an Indian thing right now, yeah? But he used to say that to me. So, you are all Punjabis from India. What is the answer? No calculators. Hanji?
8.1.
No, it's not 8.1.
0.81.
No, 0.81. Come on, bro. What's 12 times 0.9? 10.8. So, bringing it back to those good days of school, when there's no responsibilities, all you do is 12 times 1 is 12. Then 12 times 0.1 is 1.2. And 12 take away 1.2 gives you 10.8. Right? Sorry, I'm not turning this into a lesson, but it brings a good memory. So, Baba Deep Singh Ji, we all know about, who carried the Khanda, their Khanda, the double-edged sword, was a Tara said. I'm not going to ask you to work that out. But what would it be? Probably easy. Just take away 1.8 from 18 kg, 16.2. Right? So that's a lot of weight. We might think, oh, I can carry 10 kg, but if you're carrying a sword in the battlefield and you're striking again and again, 10 kg becomes very heavy very quickly. Right? So, very strong in that case. So, Bhai Ballu Ji, in that case, gave Shahidi during the time of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and they had sons. Many sons, right? And one of their sons, I think it was Bhai Mai Ji, right? I've got the name wrong, but they were the father of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. So their son, so the father of Bhai Mani Singh Ji was given a lot of respect because their father was a shaheed. Their father was a martyr in that case, right? And then he had many sons, right? About 17 sons they say he had, right? Which Bhai Diyala Ji, Bhai Jetha Ji is another one, another Bhai Jetha Ji, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, and so on. So what happens is that of their children, Bhai Mani Singh Ji comes in this earth in, I think it was 1644. Tika? 1644 is 22 years before 1666, which is the Prakash Purab of who? Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Khalsa was 1669. Tika? So Bhai Mani Singh Ji is 22 years older than Siddhi Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji came into the Hazuri, came into the court of Tan Siddhi Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji was a Sikh of the 7th Guru. ठीक है? They came to Siddhi Kirtan Sahib in 1657 when they were 13 years old. Okay? And they served Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj for 2 years. Lagatar, they stayed there. They didn't go home. Right? Their father said, keep them, they're yours. They're not even mine. Right? And the bachan that Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji said to Bhai Mani Singh Ji, it'd be good to have my notes. They said, I think it was Maniya, something Ganiya. Right? They said that Bhai Mani Singh Ji, you have loads of gun. Right? And in this world, you'll be known to be very guni. So we say guni gyani. Right? Somebody has the gun and who has the spiritual knowledge. So Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, our 7th Guru, gave a bachan to Bhai Mani Singh Ji. When they're known as Bhai Mani Ram Ji, that was their first name, right? Before they took Amrit in 1699, they're known as Bhai Mani Ram Ji, right? Ram was their last name in that case, right? And they served Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. How? By doing langar di seva. ठीक है? They'd wash the dishes. Bartan di seva. And what were they doing in that time? What was Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji doing? They were just cleaning Bhai Mani Ram Ji's mind. That's it. So when we do langar di seva, when we're doing any form of hathi seva, seva with our hands, that involves cleaning something of the Sad Sangat, we don't see that as the dirt of the Sangat. ठीक है? That is actually cleaning our dirt of our mind, right? Of the male that we have by doing Sangat di seva, Pandya di seva, Joryan di seva, even going into the toilets and cleaning the toilets, right? Even though sometimes the Gurdwara, the state of the toilets is like, yo man, people don't, would you do this in your own home? But doing that type of seva, it just washes away all of our male. So for 2 years, Bhai Mani Singh Ji served Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji. They were japi tapi Guru Sikh. They did jap and tap. Meaning, they're always reciting Gurbani and they did tap. Tap in this case means to put themselves through great hardship of seva, of Amrita Vela, of Gurbani da jap. So on and so on, right? So from the time of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji, under their blessings, they were given this bachan. They have so much gun. And they stayed there for 2 years, and then their Pitaji came for Agya, saying that I want to get Bhai Mani Singh Ji married. ठीक है? It's got to happen one day, right? You can't dodge the bullet, right? So Bhai Mani Singh Ji then went back to their pind. It's called Alipur. So Alipur is close to Multan, and they went back to their pind and they got married. ठीक है? After they got married, they came back to Kirapur Sahib, ठीक है? Which is where Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji was. So Kirapur Sahib, for those who don't know what Kirapur Sahib is right next to Anandpur Sahib, right? Beautiful place to go to, right? I'm sure a lot of you may have been there. If somebody in family passes away, generally people take the ast, they take the ashes to Kirapur Sahib and put in the river. It flows very quickly. You don't have to do that. It's not compulsory, but it's just something that's been followed for a long time. But wherever there's flowing water, you can place the ashes. So if you find in England, even though there's probably no rivers that flow in England, right? You could do it here as well, right? So Kirapur Sahib, like I said before, doing Hathi Seva, serving Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj. And then when Siddhi Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji passes, Jyoti Jyot, they go to Sachkhand. Then Bhai Mani Singh Ji stays with Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji's son, who is the 8th Guru, whose name is? Who is the name? Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji, right? So sources differ in terms of what they say. But one source says that Bhai Mani Singh Ji actually went with Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji to Delhi as well, right? When there was the outbreak of smallpox, Bhai Mani Singh Ji actually accompanied Siddhi Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj to Delhi. Of course, Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj, our 8th Guru, the only Guru for a short period of time, for about 2.5 years. They became the Guru when they were 5, and then Siddhi, in that case, in a bodily sense, they passed when they were 8. Right? So about 2 to 3 years max in between. They served alongside Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji Maharaj, 8th Parchar. And then when Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji passes, if you heard the famous Shabad, ke Baba Bas hai Gram Bakale, that now the next Baba Ji, in that case my Baba Ji, because Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji's Baba Ji in that case, we've probably seen our families, they're not your exact Baba Ji, but they're the brother of the Baba, so we still call them Baba Ji, and that was Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, right? So Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji's Baba Ji was who? The actual Baba Ji. Who knows their name? Very good. Yeah, Baba Gurditta ji was Guru Harkishan Sahib ji's Baba ji. ठीक है? So Guru Harkishan Sahib ji's father was Guru Har Rai Sahib ji, right? And then Guru Har Rai Sahib ji's father in that case was Baba Gurditta ji. ठीक है? Gurditta. They were given this blessing of in their home was a guru, right? And their brother was called Ram Rai, right? Baba Ram Rai ji, we say, you can say our Satkar as well. So Baba Gurditta ji was the eldest son of Guru Har Gobind Sahib ji, right? And their youngest brother was Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, right? So they were brothers. So Guru Har Krishan Sahib ji's actual Baba ji was Baba Gurditta ji, but their brother was Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. So Baba Basah, my Baba ji, Basah resides Gram Bakale in the city, the area of Bakale Pind in that case, right? So that's where Bhai Mani Singh ji went then. After they left Delhi, they went to Bakale Pind and they stayed with Guru Tegh Bahadur ji Maharaj. Not for that long though. They stayed with Guru Tegh Bahadur ji for a certain period of time, and then Guru Tegh Bahadur ji became Paragat. If you've heard the story, if you haven't, check out the BOS TV vlogs. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe, like and share. That's all right. But anyway, when Guru Sahib ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur ji becomes Paragat, they come out of their hiding, Guru Ladore, if you've heard the story. And just to pause for a second, our history is so beautiful. Right? So if there's certain parts of history you don't know, that's completely fine, but go and learn it. Go on our channel Basis of Sikhi, start the WhyGuru course, right? Start the 10 weeks, 10 Gurus course, right? There's so many courses on our channel. Learn this history, and when you come to these sessions, you just take away even more than you're already taken away, because a lot of things like, I've heard this, okay, this makes sense. So then when you look at the lives of Guru Sikhs, you're like, okay, this Guru Sikh is in this period of time, and all these things happen around that Guru Sikh. ठीक है? So Guru Tegh Bahadur ji leaves Bakale Pind, and then after traveling to certain places, they start going towards the east, right? They go towards Dhaka, they go towards Bangladesh, Assam, all these places, right? But Bhai Mani Singh ji does not go with them. Bhai Mani Singh ji goes back to Alipur, right? And certain historians say that maybe during this time, which makes sense, Bhai Mani Singh ji was using this time to obviously look after their family and start a family, right? Kids, because Bhai Mani Singh ji had many kids, of which many of them became shaheed, so they went back and returned back to their pind, Alipur, and they would go back and forth and so on. So that was Guru Tegh Bahadur ji. Then after Guru Tegh Bahadur ji, when Guru Sahib ji, Guru Tegh Bahadur ji goes all the way east towards Assam, right, and they come back to Sri Patna Sahib, and they meet their son for the first time, Sri Gobind Rai ji, at the age of about, I think it was about 6 years old, 5, 6 years old. The first time Guru Gobind Singh ji Maharaj ji, Guru Gobind Rai ji in that case, met their father, right? And then Guru Tegh Bahadur ji leaves Patna Sahib. Right, so I mentioned this before, but if you look at the relationship of Sri Guru Gobind Singh ji and their father, that time together was very short. Because for the first 5, 6 years of their life, their father had gone further east. They'd come back to Patna Sahib. They only stayed for a short period of time. Then Guru Tegh Bahadur ji went back to Anandpur Sahib. Then Guru Gobind Singh ji came afterwards. And then, when they came back, they stayed for a little while in Anandpur Sahib, and then the Pandits came, if you know the story, and they said, we need your help. Then Guru Tegh Bahadur ji went towards their Shahidi, and Guru Gobind Singh ji was 8 years old. Their father passed when they gave Shahidi when they were 9, but they were 8. So they only saw their father for a couple of years at most, right? So that happens, and as Guru Tegh Bahadur ji goes back to Anandpur Sahib, that's when Bhai Mani Singh ji comes from Alipur to Anandpur Sahib, known as Chak Nanaki, right? Makhawal was the first name, then it was known as Chak Nanaki, and then it became known as Anandpur Sahib. Chak Nanaki, why? It was named after their Mata ji, Mata Nanaki ji, ठीक है? And then Anandpur Sahib, the city of bliss, right? So that's where Bhai Mani Singh ji meets Sri Guru Gobind Singh ji, ठीक है? And then after Guru Tegh Bahadur ji becomes shaheed in 1675, and now just look at the depth here, right? Guru Tegh Bahadur ji gave shahidi, but who gave shahidi with Guru Tegh Bahadur ji? Bhai Diyala ji, right? Bhai Diyala ji is Bhai Mani Singh ji's brother, ठीक है? So of course we don't have that it's Guru Sahib's hukam, but we don't have the access to that information unless I've not read it, of how Bhai Mani Singh Ji reacted specifically to that. But imagine this now, all their close siblings, their grandfathers became shaheed, their brothers are becoming shaheed. Even after 1675, in different battles that take place, Bhai Mani Singh Ji's brothers and later on their sons gave shahidi as well. Right? So all around them, their families giving shahidi. Right? Another side point, did anybody watch the podcast that we released a few days ago? Or was it last week with Bhai Maninder Singh Ji? Anybody watched it? A few people? Right? So it's a bit of a side point, but it will come back to what I'm talking about. Bhai Maninder Singh Ji is a very amazing Guru Sikh from Canada, and he was talking about the death threats that he's getting, right? From the, I guess the government is coming to him and saying that there's an imminent threat to your life, right? He's been issued 3 threats initially. The 4th one that came earlier this year was not just to him, but it was to his family, to his wife and his kids. Right? So I'd recommend you watch the podcast, because it's very interesting what you're saying, right? First-hand account of somebody who's facing these death threats, right? Because we marked last year, or if it was the year before, sorry, by Hardeep Singh, right? Nijjar, who became shaheed, right? And he was also given these death threats, and he was in those same conversations as Bhai Maninder Singh Ji as well, right? As in, like, your life is at imminent threat. Right? So, we're listening to somebody now who got a first-hand account of somebody who is, facing death right in front of them. And one of the things that he said in the podcast when he was talking, to his family, to his wife, and she said something very interesting, because she said that maybe we are normal. Because a lot of times people may think that, is this not normal, what we're going through? Right? And the way they were looking at the situation, the life is at front, she goes, maybe we are normal and what we're seeing around us is not normal. And that really hit home, because if we look at history, we really do glorify history, which is fine because it's beautiful, it's amazing, right? But if you look at that time, that was the norm, right? That people's lives were at risk, that in a household of a Sikh family, you probably had a shaheed, you probably had a martyr. But today, and it's no judgment, because I'm in the same box as well, we've become so comfortable in the lives that we live that any form of uncomfort makes us very uncomfortable, which is obvious, right? But that was the norm. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji's brother becoming shaheed, but again, it was already in the ancestors from Baba or Bhai Ballu Ji in that case, right? So Bhai Diyala Ji has given shahidi, and after this, Bhai Mani Singh Ji, as the years go on, Guru Gobind Singh Ji becomes the Guru in that case in 1675. The Gurta Gaddi is given to Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And after this, Guru Gobind Singh Ji fights many battles, right? Many battles, right? Close to 20, right? I can't remember if I forgot the number. It's either 14 or 19. It was the number of battles that Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought. And in those different battles that Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought, again, more of Bhai Mani Singh Ji's family is becoming shaheed. And in 1696, so 3 years before the story of Vaisakhi, 1699, Guru Gobind Singh Ji sends Bhai Mani Singh Ji to Amritsar Sahib, to become, in that case, the custodian, or if you use words like Jathedar, they became the Jathedar of Akal Takht Sahib, and they become the head Granthi of Sri Harmandir Sahib. So Baba Buddha Sahib Ji, you all heard of them, last week's story, was the first Granthi of Sri Darbar Sahib. Bhai Mani Singh Ji was also the Granthi, in that case head Granthi of Sri Darbar Sahib. So they were given that seva because before this moment, the ownership, if you use the word ownership of Sri Darbar Sahib had went to Prithi Chand and his family. So Prithi Chand was the son of Guru Ramdas Ji, Guru Arjan Dev Ji's eldest brother. When Prithi Chand passed, he went to Meherban. When Meherban passed, he went to somebody called Sodhi something. Forgot his name. It's like Sodhi Hari or something like that, right? Or Sodhi Harji, I think his name was, right? So this lineage, which is the same family as Guru Ramdas Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, their cousins, they had the keys to the Darbar Sahib. So if you remember with Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and if you don't know this story, then again, check out the vlogs and you can see it yourself. When Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji went to Amritsar Sahib to do darshan, the doors were locked. Who locked the doors? It was the Masands. Who was the owners of who was taking care of the Darbar Sahib? It was Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's cousins. They didn't let them in. Right? As in the Sodhis, right? Guru Tegh was a Sodhi, Guru Gobind Singh is a Sodhi ones, right? So Bhai Mani Singh Ji went to Siri Amritsar Sahib and they did seva there, right? That was their duty at Siri Darbar Sahib, right? And then after this, even before this, became the minister in the home of Guru Gobind Singh Ji in their Darbar. So they're given these really high esteemed titles. But let's bring it all back to the fact that Bhai Mani Singh Ji started off by washing dishes. ठीक है? Pandya di seva, right? So again, it's not the fact that because again, a lot of us can be inspired by these Guru Sikhs. We want to be like these Guru Sikhs, which is a great ambition to have, right? We should have those ambitions, right? Otherwise it becomes becoming like the dunyavi kind of people, right? And becoming a rapper and all these kind of things, right? Which I'm not saying if you want to become a rapper, that's fine, that's up to you. Just keep it dharmic, yeah? And maybe chill on the swear words as well. Yeah? Okay then, anyway. So, have that ambition, but realize that you got to look at the story. You got to look at where they started, right? And they all started with Hathi Seva, with the things that nobody saw, right? It's not about the limelight. Harka Pagata Pragat ne chape, right? That WhyGuru is Pagats, they can't hide. God makes them Paragat. They don't make themselves Paragat, they want to stay hidden. Nav Nidhi 18 Siddhi Piche Lagya Fir Hai Jo Har Hirday Sada Vasai. That means that whoever has God's name inside their heart, all these miracles, all these powers, all this Vidyai, it chases after them. All the money, everything. So Sikhi is very different to the world, the path of Sikhi. It's saying, it's not even saying it is, it's this way. It's chasing none of that. The person doesn't want that, but it comes anyway. Tika? So Bhai Mani Singh Ji, in that case in 1696, they were given this seva at Siri Darbar Sahib. Of course, they probably came back at multiple occasions, back to Anandpur Sahib, where they met Guru Gobind Singh Ji, became Bhai Mani Singh Ji. And it's even said that Bhai Mani Singh Ji even started the Maryada of Harmandir Sahib. So a lot of the Maryada we still see till this day, obviously excluding things that have changed with the SGPC, a lot of that has come from Bhai Mani Singh Ji's time. Even the Ardas, you know the Ardas that we do, Pritham Pagoti Simrake Guru Nanak Lai Tiai, up to Gur Teg Bahadur Simriya, Kar No Nida Ave Tahe, Sab Thai Hoy Sahai. That is written by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. That is from a prayer known as Chandi Diwar. After that, when we say Dasve Parchar, when we say Dasan Paatshah di Jot, and so on, when we say Panj Pyare, Char Sahibzade, Chaliya Muktiya, why so on, Sikhanu, Sikhi Dan, Kes Dan, Rahat Dan. Where did this all come from? Of course, there's certain differences. You know what I mean? If you go to different places, it changes a little bit. But the structure, that all came from Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Because if you look at our history, whenever a guru did ardas, like Guru Arjan Dev Ji, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji does ardas, who did they do ardas to? They did to Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Angad Dev Ji, Guru Amar Das Ji, Guru Ram Das Ji. How do we know that? Ad Guru E Namah, Jugad Guru E Namah, Sat Guru E Namah, Siddhi Guru Dev E Namah. They're doing ardas to the 4 gurus before them, right? And so on. Guru Gobind Singh Ji did that. Guru Nanak Lai Tiai, Fir Angad, Gur Te Amar Das, Ram Das Se Hoy Sai. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji then added Siddhi Guru Gobind Singh Ji's name and Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji's name. And then everything else. So that a lot of these things we see today, the structures that we have, the frameworks that we have, they were set up by Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Even when we reference certain things like Rera Sahib, where do we get our Rera Sahib from? We get from the Poti Sahibs of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, Baba Deep Singh Ji, Bhai Rupa Chand Ji. Right? So there are certain Rera Sahibs that we have that you can trace back to Guru Gobind Singh Ji's time. So, and that's from the Poti Sahibs of the Guru Sikhs, right? Or like the Hazuri Rera Sahib. That happens at Hazur Sahib, again from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Sama. So I'm kind of going off on a lot of tangents, right? But they all linked to Bhai Mani Singh Ji and what they gave to the Panth, right? They were a scholar, they were Vidwan. And then after this, Bhai Mani Singh Ji in 1703, 4, 5, again the dates change, right? After the Battle of Chamkaur Sahib, Guru Gobind Singh Ji sends Bhai Mani Singh Ji a letter saying that you are my son. Because what happens in the Battle of Chamkaur Sahib, in that period of Anandpur Sahib to Chamkaur Sahib, 5 of Bhai Mani Singh Ji's sons give Shahidi. They become Shaheed. Right? So Guru Gobind Singh Ji is so pleased with Bhai Mani Singh Ji, and they say that I'm so happy with you. And I forgot to mention earlier, when Bhai Mani Singh Ji used to serve Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji and Kirtan Sahib, they used to do one ardas. And that ardas is that my Guru is happy with me. As long as my Guru is happy with me, that's great. So that was the only ardas. And now, 3 generations later in our Gurus, or 3 or 4, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is saying that I'm so pleased with you. Theek hai? And what happens after this? After the Battle of Chamkaur Sahib, Machiwara, so on and so on, Guru Gobind Singh Ji comes back to this area known as, in that case, Saboki Talwandi, and we know as Damdama Sahib. Why is it known as Damdama Sahib? Dam. There's many towns called Damdama Sahib, not just one, there's many. Dam in that case, Damana Birtha Jai comes in Gurbani. Dam here in that case refers to taking a breath, rest. Yeah, so wherever there's a Damdama Sahib, there's even a Damdama Sahib in Chamkaur Sahib, if you didn't know that. When you come to if Chamkaur Sahib is in front of you, if you turn right, there's a Punjab National Bank. If you keep going, there's a Gurdwara Damdama Sahib. So if you need any money, you go to the bank, right? And you got the shops where you get the lays and stuff, innit? The red flavour is the best one, innit? Tomato one? Yeah? Green one? Okay, chalo, I'm digressing, right? But yeah, you got to get some lays in India, Limca as well. Or maybe thumbs up, that's a good one as well. Anyway, so after the Battle of Chamkaur Sahib and so on, Guru Gobind Singh Ji comes to Damdama Sahib, and that's where Bhai Mani Singh Ji is called, Baba Deep Singh Ji, all these individuals, and then they start to write Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Theek hai? So Baba Deep Singh Ji provides the pens, the ink, and the paper, right? Bhai Mani Singh Ji is the scribe, is the Lakhari. Even before this, I forgot to mention as well, during the time of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, Bhai Mani Singh Ji used to listen, recite, and also write Gurbani. Theek hai? So they were Lakhari, a writer, in the times of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They used to write Gurbani. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji, I'm not going to talk about in this talk, they wrote loads of different granths as well, right? So they're there in terms of itihas, history. Bhai Mani Singh Ji's, their contributions are huge. Right? Even something known as Sikha Pagatmala. So if you read Bhai Gurdashi's Bani, who we mentioned last week as well, Bhai Gurdashi's writing being the key to understanding Guru Granth Sahib Ji. In Bhai Gurdashi's Bani, Bhai Gurdashi talks about the Sikhs from the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Loads of names, right? But they just give the names and like a little description. It's very minimal. You can't work much out from it. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji has written a whole, scripture in that case, talking about the stories of all those Guru Sikhs, right? So I'd recommend you try to listen to it, because you may be surprised that when you look at these Guru Sikhs, you might find somebody from your pind. And that happened to me, right? I was listening to it, and then the Guru Sikh, Bhai Jodhji, was actually from the pind. I'm from in India. And it's nice, because then you get like a link back. Do you mean like, oh, my ancestors in my village served the Guru? Right? So that's the beauty of India as well, right? You'll realize that there's a big connection with our ancestors and the Guru as well, right? So again, Damdama Sahib, Bhai Mani Singh Ji is writing Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. It took 9 months, 9 days, 9 no pahar, so that's 9 times 3, 27 hours, and no kadiya, right? And a kadi, depending on who you're going to listen to for your translation, is about 22 minutes, right? Some people say 22.5, 22. It's around the 20-minute mark, right? In that region, right? So, no kadiya. Guru Gobind Singh Ji recited all of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji from memory, okay? And in that time, in the morning, they recite the Gurbani, and in the evening, they do katha. They give discourse on that Bani. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji listened to the whole discourse of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj in those 9 months. Right? To the point where those 48 Singhs that is said traditionally, of those 48 Singhs, 46 of them left their body, went to Sachkhand. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji and Baba Deep Singh Ji, they carried on living physically and doing the seva, where they set up 2 different schools. One is a school, they're both known as taksals, very simply schools, right? One was Baba Deep Singh Ji set up one, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Baba Deep Singh Ji carried on their seva at Damdama Sahib, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji went to Amritsar Sahib, and they did seva there. And like we've mentioned in the past, Amritsar Sahib, in every gully, in every, whatever you want to call the alleyway in Amritsar Sahib, you would find a place where you can learn about Sikhi, right? There was so much vidya, so much education in Amritsar Sahib during that period of time in the 17th, not so 18th, 19th century, right, where there were so many gyanis, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji, Baba Deep Singh Ji taught students, and then they taught many students. So it's like, it just kept passing down, right? So many people were learning at that time. So then Bhai Mani Singh Ji, last thing, well, two things, and we come to their Shahidi. When Guru Gobind Singh Ji left their body in 1708 at Hazur Sahib, Bhai Mani Singh Ji was also there. They were the head Granthi. Sorry, they were like the Granthi Singh. When the Panch Singh were hazard for the Gurta Gaddi being passed on to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Bhai Mani Singh Ji was also there as well. Right? So in terms of key moments of Sikh history, Bhai Mani Singh Ji was there at all moments, right? And then after this, Bhai Mani Singh Ji stayed in Sri Amritsar Sahib. That was where their seva was, right? Keeping the panth together, keeping Parchar going. Bhai Mani Singh Ji used to do katha at Harmandir Sahib. Has anybody ever realized that when you go to Harmandir Sahib, what happens in Harmandir Sahib? There's only Kirtan and Path. Okay? No katha takes place in Harmandir Sahib. Traditionally, in the Guru Sama, katha used to happen at Harmandir Sahib. It was only something later on that came in place where a lot of things were stripped from Harmandir Sahib. Terms of Gurbani, like I said, Rehra Sahib was much longer. The Rehra Sahib that you hear at Harmandir Sahib today was not the Rehra Sahib that you heard 100, 200 years ago. Question of the fun. Why was that the case? Does anybody want to guess? And it starts with a B. British. Right? So Hanji, when the British came in, few things, right? The British obviously were like, lovely British, right? Anyway, they came in and they realized that where the Sikhs getting their Shakti from, where they're getting their power from, and one of the conclusions was it was from Dasambani, right? So that's why they started to move a lot of the Dasambani, right? And you got to realize also is that when you look at things in today's world, right? If something changes, it's very easy to pick out because of social media, because of awareness, right? If you're going to go back 150 years ago, for example, I'm not saying it was 150 years ago, but it was over a century ago. If something changes, look at Harmandir Sahib now, for example. Who went to Harmandir Sahib 20 years ago? Anybody? Compare Harmandir Sahib 20 years ago to now. Is there a big difference? Just look at attendance numbers. 20 years ago, it was quite peaceful. There wasn't these crazy lines that you see, right? Now imagine going back 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Attendance wasn't that much, right? So if something was to change, it would be much easier to do because there wasn't much awareness and so on. And they say that they actually changed Rehra Sahib at that time, right? There's a lot behind it. It's a long story in itself, right, of things that they did. But this is their way of coming in and diluting Sikhi. Another thing I forgot to mention earlier is that they also realized that when Sikhs go to Harmandir Sahib and they bathe in the Sarovar, they gain so many Shaktiya, so many powers. Right? I'm not saying start shooting lasers in their eyes and stuff, right? Maybe not, I don't know, right? But that's where they got their strength from. Things that we take for granted now, when we go to India, oh, it's too cold, man. I getting in this road, it's bare cold. Do you get what I mean? In those days, it was a blessing. Every single day in Ardas, we say Darshan Ishnan. Right? We ask for Darshan Ishnan. Obviously, that translates to a few things, but one translation of that is literally Ishnan. But obviously, the Darshan itself is cleansing us. But we do Ardas every day. If you don't realize it, when you stand in the Gurdwara and the Granthi says it, and you're like, is it over, yeah? And then you see that list come out, you think, oh no, there's a list, right? I got caught with the list. That Gurdwara has a list, right? And the list, and then he finishes, then he turns the list around. Oh yeah, that's killer, man. That's killer. But chalo, jokes aside, in that case, that's where the Sikhs got their power from, right? Our epicenter, Harmandir, all Gurasthans, everything's best, right? But of course, there's something about that Tarti. There's something about that place because so much has happened there. So much blood has been spilled there of the shaheeds, right? The Gurus have sat on that dharti, right? All our Gurus, a majority of our Gurus visited that place. Guru Nanak went there. If you didn't know that, Guru Nanak went to that dharti, which became known as Harmandir Sahib. So did Guru Angad Dev Ji, right? So it's a very blessed place. So anyway, back to the point. Yeah.
I'm going to ask an obvious question.
Oh no.
Gone now. Why haven't we reverted back or have we not stopped?
Okay, great question. So why have you not reverted back? Tika? I'm going to answer your question with another question, right? Why have we still got committees in our Gurdwara? I'm not here to fire shots at committees.
No.
There's a lot of things that have been put in place now that are not from our Guru's time. So these are it's such an obvious question to ask. But things don't change overnight, unfortunately. And people are now fixing this because, and again, this is one answer, but I'm not saying this is the complete answer because I'm not here to fire shots at anybody. I'm still young. I haven't done much for the Pant or anything, so I can't comment. But when our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation have seen something, then that's the norm to them, right? And sometimes it's that same thing, right, of like, you have to be a part of it to change it, but does it ever change it? I don't know. Right, so these are the questions we should be asking, and these are things that we should be changing. But it's even more deeper because a lot of these things, if you just look at the UK, for example, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, especially in India, it's the same thing. We don't own our Gurdwara. Do you understand? In India, for example, we don't technically own our Gurdwara. It's under the SGPC, right? And now we may say we own the SGPC. We don't. First of all, who's we? Fano? Shinomani Gurdwara Prabandhik Committee. Okay? I had to do committee with the thingy, right? Even that in itself, committee. There you go, right? Something that was set up. Why was it set up? So, because even before SGPC, we didn't have our Gurdwara. The keys of our Gurdwara were taken away from us. It's a side topic. We'll come back, right? In order to get our keys back, the British said, we'll give them back to you. But have this with it. Have this system to look after, to sambal your Gurdwara, right? But that was in itself was a trap. And now we're stuck with that system today in India. It all comes, the SGPC in that case, it links back to the government, right?
Or political.
Yeah, you can say it's all political. And same in the UK. There's one simple example in the UK. Again, I'm not too read up on this stuff, right? But just look in the UK, all our Gurdwara, I think so, are charities.
Yeah.
Charity commission.
Yeah.
Now you've got to follow those laws. So if a Gurdwara in Slough wants to talk about Khalistan and put flags up, what's the Charity Commission going to say? You can't do it. Because in that case, I say the term loosely, do we own our Gurdwara? So when we're saying, why do these things not change back? It's not as simple as one person standing up and saying, we're going back to the Puratan Sama, right? Because there's a lot of things that come along with that, right? And it gets very political, which is another talk for another day, and I'm not the best person to do that talk. But check out Boss TV, there's a lot of content on this as well, right? And make sure you like, share, and subscribe, right? That's a joke, but at the same time, there's something inside it as well. Anyway, so Bhai Mani Singh Ji serves at Harmandir Sahib, does the seva, and again, during this time, a lot of things are happening, right? There's a price in the head of Guru Sikhs, right? But Bhai Mani Singh is still able to do the seva and keep, if you want to say, like an amicable relationship with the governors and so on. And whenever somebody came to Darbar Sahib and questioned Bhai Mani Singh Ji, came as an enemy, they left as a friend. That was just a bar of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, that Nako Badi Nahi Begana. Nobody was an enemy to them. Nobody was a stranger to them. They had such a personality that they could just win over anybody. Tika? So what happens is one day Bhai Mani Singh Ji, they think to themselves that in Sri Harmandir Sahib, Darbar Sahib, it's been such a long time since there's been a massive Jod Mela, where all the Sangat have come together, right? And there's certain things that take place within Harmandir Sahib that have been going for generations before Bhai Mani Singh Ji, that they wanted to keep those things alive. So in order to keep them alive, the Sangat need to come, right? Sangat need to come and see this for themselves. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji speaks to some of the connections that they have in the Mughal regime, say like that, right? And they are able to speak to Zakaria Khan, and they're able to pass this this, I don't know what you call it, but in that case, to organize a Jod Mela. Jod Mela, very simply, Mela, everyone comes together at Harmandir Sahib. So the governors say to Bhai Mani Singh Ji, that's fine, you have to give 5,000 rupees in tax. Some sources say 10,000 rupees, okay? So between 5 to 10,000 rupees, and for 10 days, you can have a Jod Mela. That's your tax, 10,000 rupees, which is a lot of money in those days, right? Bhai Mani Singh Ji accepts, right? So now all the Sangat start to come to Sri Darbar Sahib. The accounts are different, right? Some accounts say all the Sangat came, other accounts say none of the Sangat came because of what? This part is unanimous, that when the governors found out that the Sikhs were going to come, they sent an army from Lahore under the leadership of someone called Lakhpat Rai. Lakhpat Rai is an interesting character, someone to note down, because he's involved in the Shota Ka Lukara, right? Which is where the first Sikh Holocaust took place, right? Because his brother, Jaspat Rai, had his head chopped off, right? Because he spoke foul words. After Bhai Mani Singh Ji Shahidi, I can't remember what he said. He says a few things that I'll do the same thing to somebody else, and will take their case and cut it off and so on, all these kind of things. So the Sikhs basically went and chopped his head off. And because of that, Lakhpat Rai then took revenge and massacred so many Sikhs, known as the Shota Ka Lukar, the smaller Holocaust that took place, right? So Lakhpat Rai comes with an army to Amritsar Sahib. So the accounts vary, but it's the same thing. The first account is that the Sikhs heard about this and they left. So by the time the army came, there was no one there. Well, the second account is Bhai Mani Singh Ji cancelled the Jod Mela and nobody was there. End result, the army turned up, there's no one there. Right? There's no one to kill. But they still want their money. They want the tax. Bhai Mani Singh Ji says, what money? There was no Jod Mela. We know what you guys were going to do, so we cancelled it. They go, no. You got to give it. And they arrest Bhai Mani Singh Ji and some of the Guru Sikhs and some of their sons at this time, and they take them to Lahore, where now they're going to, you could say in that case, if you've been arrested, what's going to happen? You're going to be put on trial, right? Bhai Mani Singh Ji is not put on trial. There are no questions. They just issued a fatwa. They issued a punishment straight to Bhai Mani Singh Ji. But before they issued the fatwa, they realized that who is Bhai Mani Singh Ji, the caliber of Sikh Bhai Mani Singh Ji is, that let's try and turn them. Let's not kill them. Let's try and make them follow us. Because if you get somebody like Bhai Mani Singh Ji to become a Sikh, somebody who's written Guru Granth Sahib Ji, I didn't mention, but they also wrote Dasam Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as well. Right? They wrote many different tikas, which are basically commentaries, translations of different prayers in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and so on. If you get someone like them, the Jathedar of Akal Takht Sahib, right? The head Granthi of Harmandir Sahib, right? Who's the Divan, the minister of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Divan, who is a Sikh of the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th Guru. If you get them to convert, wow, imagine what impact's going to have on the Sikh. 3 options. Option 1, give the money. With option 1, the Sikhs of Lahore actually came and gave the money. It wasn't about the money. Tika? So obviously it was just given as an option, but it wasn't about the money, because the Lahore, the Sangat came and said, here's the money, we'll give you more, we'll give you 10 times the money. Just let Bhai Mani Singh Ji go. They ignored it. So first was money, second was Islam, and third was death. And of course you all know what Bhai Mani Singh Ji is going to pick. It was death. Shahidi. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji says something very interesting, right? Which again is from their time, right? Mid 1700s. They say to the executioner, and those people that are there, it's quite interesting, quite funny in one sense, right? Bhai Mani Singh Ji is quite confused, like, what makes you think that I'm going to convert? Where have you heard before me that a Sikh has converted? For you to think that now I'm going to convert, or going forward that Sikhs would convert. So you can understand the psyche, the mindset of the Sikhs during that period of time. Right? Of course, centuries have passed and we live in a different day today. But this is why our history is so important. Right? This is why we should be, learning about Sikhi, reading about Sikhi, coming to the Guru God, because if our families knew this history, if our kids knew this history, then, you know, questions like conversion that take place today, where Sikhs are converting left, right and centre, unfortunately, not just in the UK, across the world, these things wouldn't happen, right? So we need to, you know, ground our next generation and this generation in our Sikh itihas, with Gurbani, of course, right? Because they come hand in hand, right? Because when you look at this, then people may be inspired by this. And I also feel that there's a supernatural element to this as well, that just by hearing the Sakhi of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, like, it just, there's something great. And if you ever read key stories in history, it always says at the end of the story, if you listen to the story, you'll be saved, right? Which sounds quite like, okay, read the story now. But of course, it's more than just listening. Listening means more in Sikhi. Listening doesn't mean that it goes in one ear and comes out the other ear. Listening means that it was actually listened to. And again, side tangent, but we'll come back in a second. In Japji Sahib, when it says Sonia, then it comes Manne, the Char Paudi, then Panch Parvan Nidyasan. Interestingly, when you look at those three different sections of listening, accepting and following, they're not that separate. If you truly listen, you've accepted and you've done it. Does that make sense? So they're not different, they're not exactly different stages. It's not like, okay, I'm going to listen to it for a while, and I'm just going to think, okay, I don't know, man. Right? When you truly listened, then suniye, dukh paap ka nas. Then the dukh and the paap has been taken, is fully washed away, right? So, anyway, back to what I'm saying. Bhai Mani Singh Ji says, what makes you think I'm going to convert? Right? Then the Sikh Sangat are like, you know, don't do this. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji saying, why would you stop this? Why would you stop this blessing that's being bestowed upon me? Right? Because when the fatwa is issued, when the execution is issued, Bhai Mani Singh Ji doesn't look at it as that the executioner is giving it. They're looking at it as WhyGuru Ji is giving it. They're looking at it as if Guru Gobind Singh Ji is giving them this blessing. Not the Jalal, not the executioner. It's not theirs. It belongs to the Guru. Because as you see outside, when you're walking in, all those chairs put out, and you see on the screen is by Jaswant Singh Ji Khalsa, and this time there obviously, we will talk about it because of the film that came out and they got took down, censorship, so on and so on. But Bhai Jaswant Singh Ji says this, right? That one of the greatest gifts you can gain is Shahidi, right? So, and that gift cannot be given to you by an executioner. It's given to you by the Guru. But again, that doesn't make sense. What is normal? Like we said earlier in that podcast, right? What is normal? So, Bhai Mani Singh Ji says, give me this daat, give me this execution. So that's what happens then, right? The executioner then comes forward, and the execution, the fatwa that's given is to be cut limb by limb. Okay? So the executioner comes, and as you can see in the picture, he gets what he's going to use to cut Bhai Mani Singh Ji with, and he's going to start with the wrist. And as the picture depicts, Bhai Mani Singh Ji says, what are you doing? So if you're going to cut me, if you're going to do this, do it properly. My limb doesn't start here, it starts here. Right? It starts in the first part of the finger. Right? So Bhai Mani Singh Ji then was cut limb by limb. They first cut each of these four. Then they cut the next four, and of course the thumb as well, right? How are you going to say that? And then the next 5. What's that? 15, right? That's 12. Is that 12? 14. And then the wrist, 15. Then the elbow, then the shoulder. Start with the right arm first. Then the left arm, 15, 15. Tika? Then the legs, same thing as well. And then of course the head. Tika? So we're looking at about 72 cuts that Bhai Mani Singh Ji was cut into. Right? Pieces. Band, katai. Now we've read in the Ardas, right? And as Bhai Mani Singh Ji is being cut limb by limb, I mean, Tahar says some say that Bhai Mani Singh Ji did Japji Sahib the part, others say Bhai Mani Singh Ji did Sukhmani Sahib the part. For those that say Japji Sahib the part, they say that when Bhai Mani Singh Ji gave Shahidi, when they attained Shahidi, they were on Sodar. Sodar keha, Sokar keha. Interesting, right? They got to Sodar. They got to the Kar, the Dar of WhyGuru. They got to Sachkhand. If you look at Sukhmani Sahib in those accounts, so when Bhai Mani Singh Ji got to the 14th Ashtapadi, and this line came, Nahe kacham janame, nahe kacham mare, aapana charat aap hi kare, आवन जावन दृष्ट अनदृष्ट आज्ञाकारी धारी सब सृष्ट. ठीक है. They got to that pankti in Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib, which means Nahe kich janam. Nothing in essence takes birth. Nahe kich mare, and nothing dies. Apan chalat aap hi kare. It's all WhyGuruji's play. Avan javan, coming and going. It's all in WhyGuruji's hands, and that is the play of this world. Whoever comes has to go. Jo aya, so chalasi. Whoever comes in this world has to leave. So Bhai Mani Singh Ji was cut into 72 pieces and they're put in a tokri. They're put in a little basket. And they say even after they were cut limb by limb, they say even from that basket, they say that Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib continued till Pog tak, till the end. Jisamana basai sune lai parita tis jana ave har prabhachita janam marna taka dukh navare dulab dehe tatkal udare. This comes at the end of Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib. They say jism man. In that person, in their mind, man also means body, mind is body, body is mind. Jism man bas hai. Inside that person's mind, sune lai preet, what resides in their mind? Gurbani. Sukhmani Sahib in this case, right? Because they're given the Mahatam of Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib at the end. They give the essence of Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib when you read the last few stanzas. They say whoever has Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib reside inside them, and they listen to that Sukhmani Sahib with so much love. So again, listening here is not just like listening, it's what they are. Because they've heard it, they've accepted it, and they're living what Sukhmani Sahib says. So jisamana basai sune lai parita tis jana ave har prabhajit. In that person, all the time, har prabhajit. All the time, WhyGuruji. They're just saying, everything that happens is all because of WhyGuru. Apana charat aap hi kare. So when an executioner is trying to kill them, say, we cut you limb by limb, it's not, how can you do this to me? This is all WhyGuruji's play. When Bhai Diyala ji gave Shahidi, after them Guru Tegh Bahai ji gave Shahidi, and we read in Gurbani, Sees diya par si na uchdi. They said that Guru Tegh Bahai ji gave their head, but they never cried out once. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji was the same. They say when you read the history, they say Bhai Mani Singh Ji never screamed out once, never said hi once, and they never even jumped once. You know, like if you see blood, for example, and sometimes you go like this, if you got a horrible accident, right? Skin comes up, so on. Not even that did they shriek or anything. Bhai Mani Singh Ji, right? Tis jana ave har prabhachita janama marna taka dukh navare. This pain that we're all going through of life and death. It's the biggest pain. Obviously we've experienced pain in our life, but this is the biggest pain because it keeps us coming back again and again and again to experience all the other pains. The ones that come out of the biggest pain. But they say, okay, all this dukh is taken away by that one who recites Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib. Dulab dehe, what does dulab mean? Lab, what lab means? Labna? Lab means to find. Dolab means very hard to find. What is Doralab? And that's the way it's usually fully recited. Doralab dehe. This body that is so hard to obtain. Right? Finally, we got this body. Doralab dehe tatkal odare. After so many years, billions of years, we finally got the human body. 8.4 million life forms. And then finally we got the human body. Dulab dehe tatkal. In just a second, udare. Person saved. Right? That is the life of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, right? They lived a life of being imbued in Seva, Simran and Sangat. It's so basic, right? Pardon the pun, Beso Sikhi. It's so basic. All we got to do is these three things in our Guru's court. So, homework for everyone. Hanji.
Where did the two variations of Jaggi Sahib and Sukhdeep come from?
Where did they come from? I think one is from Pracheen Panth Prakash, then one's from Panth Prakash. Okay? So, in terms of the historical sources, they vary between the two. Okay? So, Hanji. But I can double check for you and then send to Baban Singh. But it's between the different, I'm sure it's between the different Panth Prakashas. Okay? That give the different accounts to it. Okay? Hanji. Yeah.
You mentioned that it took 9 months from memory
Yeah.
And Bhai Singh helped transcribe it. But did that originally came from that Adi Granth that Bhai Gurdwara put together and then it was added to?
Nice question. So the question here is that when Guru Gobind Singh recited all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji from memory, was that taken from, or was there reference to Adi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the one that was written by Guru Das Ji? And the answer is no, because Guru Gobind Singh Ji actually requested that Adi Granth Sahib Ji, but that Adi Granth Sahib Ji in that case was kept with the lineage of Tidmal. So Tidmal, basically what happened was that after the first battle I mentioned earlier, right, the battle of Amritsar Sahib, when that battle happened, then Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji in their first form was taken from Harmandir Sahib, and Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji gave it to Tidmal, who was their grandson. Tika? So Baba Gurditta Ji's other son, Guru Har Sahib Ji's brother, and they took Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji to Kartarpur Sahib. And then they kept Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib Ji came back to the Panth during Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's time, because when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was in Bakale Pind and all the Sodhis, the 22 Sodhis came and said, "We're the Guru." Tidmal came with Adi Granth Sahib Ji and said, "I'm the Guru," and he was at the most legit contender because he had Adi Granth Sahib Ji and he was a son of the Guru, a brother of the Guru, or a grandson of the Guru. And then at that time, Baba Makhan Shah took Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, gave to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, but Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji said, "Return Guru Granth Sahib Ji," right? And they say that actually Guru Sahib Ji returned Guru Granth Sahib Ji via the river, right? Because Tidmal already gone back to Kartarpur Sahib. Right, so Guru Granth Sahib Ji actually travelled by river. It's a long story, cool story, and back to Kartarpur Sahib. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji didn't have that swaroop of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They recited from memory.
They recited that from memory.
All of Guru Granth Sahib Ji from memory. That version, because again, as in when it wasn't much difference, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj Ji which, because it just was in the writings of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Right? Yeah, that was and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's coupler. But there were other sloops of Guru Granth Sahib Ji during that time, because when Guru Arjan Dev Ji recited Guru Granth Sahib Ji Bhai Gurdas Ji wrote it, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji was taken to by someone called Bhai Banno Ji to create many copies of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So there were many copies. When I went to India recently, check out the India vlogs, you'll see in there we actually find sloops of that period of time, right? But there's still it gets long and it gets a bit complicated. Okay, so Hanji, so Bhai Mani Singh Ji also wrote Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And if people say that is it possible for Guru Gobind Singh to recite all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji from memory, of course there have been instances in our history where there have been Guru Sikhs who got all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji memorized. So one famous Guru Sikh who had all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji memorized was Bhai Khan Singh Nabba's Pitaji. So Bhai Khan Singh Nabba is a very famous name we all hear of. He was he wrote the encyclopedia of Sikhi called Mahan Kosh. Right? His father did a whole Akhand Path Sahib sitting down, Chaunkara Marke, from memory. So there have been instances in our history where there have people that have recited all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji from memory. Today you can find people that read all of Guru Granth Sahib Ji in 48 hours in one go as well. There was one recently, and you always see when they pick them up, their legs are dead because obviously they've been sitting for so long, right? So, is all the questions answered? All good? Hanji, bro. Sorry? The biggest part? That who? Me can do. I can do. The biggest part in Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Oh. Oh, nice. What's the best part to read, best Guru Bani to read? Any, to be honest. Of course, any is always great, right? What do you connect to? What's your favorite Bani? Japto, then kill it, bro. 101, man. Let's go, man. Easy. Lightweight. Tika? So yeah, start. If you love Japji Sahib, then be inspired, right, by the great Guru Sikhs that came in at the house, right? Even our Gurus, right? They say that Guru Amar Das Ji used to do 84 Japji Sahibs when they used to go in the morning to serve Guru Angad Dev Ji. 84. Guru Hara Sahib used to do over 100 Japji Sahibs. Tika? Throughout history, Sanjanel Singh used to do over 100 Japji Sahibs. Tika? So use that to inspire you, right? If it's Japji Sahib, Chaupe Sahib, Sukhmani Sahib, wherever you connect to, paro. Gavo ho, paro ho. Sono ho nitapai, Guru Pure tu rakhya. Right? Comes in Guru Nanak Ji's Bani. Sing it, read it, listen to it, and the Guru protect you. Right? So, Dulabade tatakalo dare. And that brings us to the end of the talk. Few things. Tomorrow they have the My Santhya launch right? A fantastic initiative that's been set up by these lovely Gurmukhs, right? So that's going to be here tomorrow. It's an app to aid you in your Santya, right? Coming back to Gurbani, we should all learn to read Gurbani. We should all try and read Gurbani. It's not, some of us may not be privileged to be brought up in a household where there was Punjabi, where there was Gurmukhi. Neither in my household. I only learned when I was about 19, 20, self-taught, and then I realized I taught myself really bad and I had to go to find a teacher because I sat in the car with Bhai Singh, did Rehra Sahib, and I thought we were going to do it together in Sangat Roop, and I started heard Juga Juga Pagato Paya, and then he didn't say Pej Rakada Aya Ram Raje. I was like, it's going to be a solo, right? And then when I got to the end of, when I finished Rehra Sahib, Nanak Mane Mahe, Sagale Dukh Jahe, and then WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh, and he went, and I can still remember he just, yes, Singh, you need to go Santya, right? So yeah, I got pure slaps, right? And then I started the next day, literally I started the next day, right? Because I used to go to the WhyGuru course, and the girls that used to come, I don't need to come, man. No, I can read Bhat. Use YouTube, right? Self-taught, and then you realize self-taught's not great, right? So fantastic initiative. Come to it tomorrow if you can and take part. And your homework for everyone, because everyone likes homework, right? You never stop learning, right? It's not really homework. It's a humble binti. If we can, today's by Mani Singh Ji's Shahidi Divas. So everybody, do an extra Japji Sahib. Add an extra Japji Sahib into your life. If you're already doing that, you've already clocked Japji Sahib, like at the front, right? Then Sukhmani Sahib. Wherever you connect to more, do a Sukhmani Sahib for Bhai Mani Singh Ji, and even try and add a Sukhmani Sahib to daily routine. Listen to Siddhi Sukhmani Sahib every single day if you can. Right? If you don't want to listen to it, read it. Okay? Add it into your life. Right? So hopefully next time I see you, we can talk about how your Japji Sahib journey or your Sukhmani Sahib journey is going. Right? Just start. Just try it today. Start from tomorrow. I say start today. I know it's late. Just kill it, man. Do it, man. Who cares you stay up till late? What's going to happen? Just going to fall asleep afterwards, start next day, right? What is the worst that can happen if you do Sukhmani Sahib now, when you go home? ठीक है? So Marj Kirpa Rakhe. And the final slide is just something that we're trying to introduce more to the Sangat. Just a few QR codes. I'm not telling you have to scan them right now before you leave. There's different ones on there to support us, feedback, sevadars, request the speaker. I'd humbly say, if everybody can at least scan the orange one. If that's orange. Is that orange? Yeah? Jello orange, right? Give us your feedback. Please give us a feedback, right? Wherever we go, no one wants to give feedback. Maybe you enjoy it, that's great, but we're always trying to be better. And again, there's so many people in Midlands that why is this room not packed? Not because of our VDI. Why are not more people coming learning about these stories? Why are people sitting at home watching the World Cup? Watch it. It's great. I'll watch it as well, I ain't gonna lie, right? I ain't staying up to 1 a.m. to watch England. I'll watch the highlights, right? I ain't that hardcore anymore, right? Because I'm a Man United fan and they let me down, so I stopped watching. And England play like Man United. They keep passing back. But chalo, that's a different story. More people should be coming to these talks, right? Every single talk that has been done, even at the bar, should be packed, right? That's another stage, right? But every talk that is taking place, every individual that comes and takes out their time, the more the Sangat is, the more we can vibe, the more we can connect, right? So again, I said it last week, I say again this week, come next week, but bring someone with you. Bring your families with you. Do their head in. So I'm not going to stop until you come to this talk. Tika? So please, my humble benti is that more people should be coming and they should be connecting, and we can all play our part in that as well, right? Bring the people to the Guru's home. Tika? And Hanji Baban Singh.
Just a couple of plugs here. Next week's talk will be by Suki Baba. If anyone has any ideas for a topic, then please come and see me for the talk. First time we're doing this, so we'll tell this try. Anyone, any suggestions? Those that know Suki Baba likes to tell a lot of good jokes, not bad jokes.
It's fine.
But yeah, please come to me with your suggestions. Also, the My Sunday blog that we've done for tomorrow. Please do come and support them. A lot of hard work's gone into it, so please do attend. And I think that's it. Thank you so much.
It's a brilliant app. I've used it.
And it's not just for Gurmukhi, you also learn how to speak Punjabi with it as well. So if you want to learn Punjabi,
That is pizza and cake.
oh, pizza and chips and langar and cupcake and sweet stall. Sweet stall. Okay?
And there's Katam that as well.
There's a folder one. So take care, guys. Thank you so much. Please correct the mistakes made in the talk. Let's finish the salok, ठीक है? And then we'll samapti. Salok. Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Tart Mahat Devasarat Doi Dai Daya Khele Sagal Jagat Changiaya Buriyaya Vache Dharma Hadur Karmi Apo Apni Ke Nere Ke Dur Jini Naam Tyaya Gaye Masakat Kaal Nanak Te Mukh Ujjale Jini Naam Tyaya Gaye Masakat Kaal Nanak Te Mukh Ujjale Keti Chutti Naal WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa